you followed my trap card and had to listen to me talk about Yu-Gi-Oh! And my own OCs for like 20 minutes while like freaking Undertale songs play in the background. My favorite series of all being Yu-Gi-Oh! Arc 5, if it stands alone, of course. That being because in middle school I hopped directly from the first Yu-Gi-Oh! To Arc 5. That changed my art style in between the ages of 11 and 12, because it's when I found it. Here's something I drew when I was like 11 turning 12, and then in between. And then I think I was around 12 when I drew this one. Of course, I'm better at art now, because I'm like 18, almost 19. But here's some evidence of that by showing you this Oni I drew not so long ago. Look at him, he's on a cherry blossom tree, yay! Anyway, this should be about how I took my favorite show and I made my own series out of it. I'm a girly who likes to make fan characters out of favorite series. So I made some fan characters and then, well, they got their own series out of it. Here are a few old drawings of the main characters in their alternate dimensional forms. Originally it was a fanfiction universe, but then I altered it. This story being based on a planet I made up during middle school as well, called Nikomi, and it's in the country of Rainbow Dragon. Honestly, I've been working on the plot for this for like a really long time, and yeah. The first try at writing this, I only had one battle scene in it, and then I just did a bunch of like romantic stuff, which, if I'm doing something based off Yu-Gi-Oh!, it should be more, Yu-Gi-Oh! Like. So I really started to just take stuff and make it my own. Or, well, make it like knockoffs. Dual Disc? More like Battle Blade. Pro Duelist? No. You're a pro battler now. Also, because I'm basing it off of Yu-Gi-Oh! Arc 5, I decided to make characters based off of those characters. Of course, Yuya and Zuzu were replaced by Luca, Kianan, Zack, Safu, and Landon. Though Landon is more like Gong than anyone, but he is important. Of course, we have the separate dimensions, which I added an extra one because I had to make this a little different. And I can make this however long I want to. It's going to be more of a comic than a series anyway. Unless it gets turned into a show at some point, which would be pretty cool. But all the dimensions are also labeled off the different summoning methods as well. There's the ordinary dimension, there's the evil dimension, ninja dimension, unique dimension, and opposite dimension. We obviously start off in the ordinary dimension with, the SHIB going down and all that. SHIB is my replacement for the ARC system. And yes, I am basing a lot of the plot off of, the, source material, ARC V. So I have swapped Yuya's dad for Kanan's mom. Zuzu's dad is Kanan's dad. And then I also added a lot of siblings. Safu and Landon are siblings, along with Luca having 3 younger siblings, and Kanan also has 3 younger siblings, but his are triplet sisters. Luca's sister Lilac is friends with the sisters. Might I add that my characters, Luca, Kanan, Zack, and Safu, are all 16, while the triplets and Lilac are 12. Zack also has siblings. He has a twin sister and a younger brother, who is also 12. But he also is a prince of magic. He has the kings of magic, who are his dads, which are OCs that are even older than these guys. Now, you also might be wondering, how do all of the characters connect? Well, all the Safus connect by headbands. Safu has headphones, Scarlet has green horns, Suki has a crown headband, Sayaka has blue horns, and Sawyer has orange horns, one of them being broken. Then we have all of the Zacks. All the Zacks are connected by their earrings. Zack has yellow star earrings. Zane has yellow electric bolts. Zenji has red stars. Xavier has green triangles, and Zoe has purple flowers. I'm pretty sure all the Lucas and Cannons connect via monster cards, but I don't really know which monsters each of them have currently, so you're just gonna have to know that they're connected by monster cards, and that's it. Now, if you have watched Yu-Gi-Oh! 5, then you would know that the U-Boys and the Bracelet Girls are all originally from two main people, that being Zark and Ray. And the whole plot of that is that Leo Akaba wants his daughter back, so he decides to try to put together all the Zuzus to reunite the dimensions and get his daughter back and all that. But of course, I'm gonna do something different. So I have Landon, right? You know Landon? I already told you about him. He also has alternate dimensional selves, but his are mismatched. Of course, we have Landon, who is 21. Then we have Aiden, who is 30. Then we have Ren, who is 16. Zayden, who's 38. And London, who's also 21. The reason for all the Landons to be mixed-matched is because when, okay, I'm just gonna tell you their names. The replacement for Ray, in my series is Yumiko. Yumiko is the younger sister of Raiden. Raiden, made the ship system that Zaire, Hiyako, and Kiri all use to, well, fight the whole world. Kiri and Hiyako are married, and Zaire and Yumiko are fiancés. They are all 26. So when the three boys, Zaire, Hiyako, and Kiri all do their destruction and stuff, Zayden takes it upon himself to make the stuff to destroy the villainous boys. So he makes it, and it's like this weird set of headphones with this colorful horns and a crown on it. And he wants to go and use it himself, but then his younger sister removes her cat ear headphones from her head, takes the other headphones, and goes to defeat her best friend / fiance. But Raiden doesn't want her to do that, but a shield gets put up around them while she does this, and at the final moment, while the dimensions are splitting, Raiden manages to break through the shield. Because of this, he is divided unequally. Unequally? I don't know. He's not equally divided. He's like divided in like different shards that are like different sizes instead of shards that are perfectly symmetrical and all that. Hence why all of the other guys are older brothers to the Safu, except for Ren. Ren is actually Suki's twin brother. That's why their hair looks like that. Fun fact, Ren's hair is actually the perfect invert of Suki's hair. Isn't that neat? So, instead of LeoCorp, we have EdenCorp. And that's a lot of explaining there. So, Eden is born in the evil dimension, but he somehow ends up in the ordinary dimension, and he makes his own company and builds it up until he makes it back to the evil dimension. But during that time, he is adopted by some people, and he has technically 2 younger siblings along with Scarlet, who is his biological sibling, but his adoptive siblings are Lake and River. Lake actually figures out what Aiden is trying to do, and she doesn't really like it. So she tells Cannon's mom about it, and Cannon's mom just kind of decides she's gonna take care of it herself. Of course, with Ninja Dimension being the parallel to the Xyz Dimension, of course that is the first place to be attacked. Even though it is a dimension full of ninjas, the evil dimension conquers the ninja dimension. And because of this, well, a little bit after this, Suki gets swiped up by Caleb. Caleb is the replacement. Caleb and Lucas are the replacement for Yuri. Yuri is my favorite, by the way. Although, because I have so many characters that need to show up, I don't have all of them show up at the same time. Instead, for the Ninja Dimension characters, I have Zenjin show up alongside Ren and another girl, Shay Garnet. Now, Lake is obviously the replacement for Declan. River is the replacement for Riley. River actually being a guy, and I'm pretty sure Riley was a little girl who was dressed as a guy because of her being in a war-torn area. Then there's the Sledgehammer from episode 1. I actually had the character that replaced him be a reoccurring character because she's going to be more of a mentor kind of character. Her name is Miss Bellette, or Sandra Bellette, along with her being Nikki Starshine, who is the replacement for Nico Smiley. Then we have Scylla Salia, who is the replacement for Silvio Salvatore. And then we have Han, who is the replacement for Sora. Star is the replacement for Dipper. Julian is the replacement for Julia. Blade is the replacement for Kit. Taking the place of Shay Obsidian would be Shay Garnet and Ren. Ren being more of the one who's going to be in the championship. And Shay Garnet is there because she might also be in the championship, but she's also going to be Scylla's girlfriend at some point. Taking Reed Pepper's place is Pepper Cookin', and I traded Aura out for Aries, but the thing is, in the series, Aura falls in love with Yuya, which I'm not gonna have happen with Aries. Aries is actually in love with Luca's younger sister, Lilac. I also have a replacement for Dennis, and it is Daimu. I replaced him for Crow, and I replaced him with Chaz. And of course, there's the 3 kids as well. And there are 2 more people who would show up alongside of Chaz, but I have yet to finish their character sheets. Though their names are Jaden and Caitlin. Of course, then we have Scylla's battle, which ends up with her getting a rainbow streak in her hair. And then she ends up having to battle Zenjin afterwards. And because of that, she gets a black streak in her hair. She gets upset, so she tells her mom, who tells Lake's dad, and then there's a whole battle that happens, which has Star, Julian, and Blade, because that happens. Along with them is Dylan, because we need someone who knows how to opposite summon as well. Right, the summoning methods. To ordinary summon, you just place a card on your battle blade and you just have that done. Then you have evil summoning, which you need the card Evil Intentions, and then your monsters swirl up in an evil tornado, which then you got your evil monster. Ninja summoning is putting monsters through ninja training and then having your monster come out of ninja training, and instead of a level, it's not a rank. I'm pretty sure it's a class. Yeah, it's a class. Your monster has a class instead of a level. Unique summoning, you basically take your monsters. You need a unique monster, and the unique monster runs around the other monsters, and then all their levels add up, and you can only add up to 15. If you try to add any higher, then it will not work. Then we also have opposite summoning. Opposite summoning is a bit more unique. To opposite summon, you need to have a monster that is defeated in your afterlife. Then you send another monster to your afterlife, and the two monsters will combine together into an opposite monster. Then there's love summoning. That's the summoning method that gets discovered by Canon during his battle with Miss Ballette. At the time, Luca and Canon both got a set of love cards, and then later on, Zack activates, and then he gives himself, along with Safu and Landon, a set of love cards. To love summon, all you need is 2 love cards. The higher love the 2 cards have for each other, the 2 monsters have for each other, the higher level of monsters you can summon. The 2 love card monsters then start to dance, and they start dancing in like a heart formation, making a heart-shaped portal of which up to 5 monsters comes down from. Also, don't worry, I'm not going with the Yuya just smile approach with the plot here. Just because I called the summoning method love summoning doesn't mean I'm gonna be like, come on guys, we have to be nice to each other, and we have to be all lovey-dovey and be nice and love each other, you know, we can't be fighting. That isn't what happens. Like, they do be fighting. The love cards are kind of more there just so that I can draw the monsters in like cute little romantic scenes while they're floating up and dancing. I really am trying to make my own version of the basic plot of Yu York V, which was basically these guys divided into different dimensions, and then they're trying to go back together, and it's like, you know, they don't want to do that, you shouldn't do that. But this guy wants to bring together these girls so that he can have this special girl back, but that can't happen because one of the guys is in love with the girl, and they can't go back together because if all the guys go back together, it makes a real evil guy, and we can't let the evil guy come back because if he comes back, then he's gonna destroy everything. Yeah, I really shouldn't be giving out too much of my plot, because if I do, then why would you want to read my comic? But also, fun little thing, I decided to give Luca a deck based off of, with monsters based off of YouTubers that I like. Recently, in the Scylla battle, he uses monsters that are representations of Filza, Technoblade, and Bilzo. Well, Luca's deck is actually a mix of YouTuber monsters and goats, because Luca Hell Demon, whoa! Canon's deck is him being prepared for anything, so his deck is basically randomized every time he gets up. He just basically shuffles his cards and just counts them out, and then there we go, that's his deck. Zack's deck is kind of surrounded by his father's. It's kind of based on his father's because his dads are a rabbit and a wolf. So Zack's deck is basically just rabbit and wolf themed. Then Safu's is based off of Japanese yokai, and also hers has like my old pets in it as well. Oh wait, the video's almost over. See ya! Ah!